on there, Jerry?
He's gone today, yeah. He's
I
a
don't
hard
think
purchase.
he's not buying no pizzas or nothing?
I'm sure they are. Huh?
Have you ever had?
Yeah, he told me, he didn't think it'd be, he had a,
Here's
he was up at this minute, and he had more
That was one of
than
that. Jerry used to bring some stuff. Jerry brought some stuff once in a while.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Calls me to order September 6th, roll call please.
Mayor Nathan Anderson.
Here.
Troy Boone.
Here.
Troy Jordan. Will Wilkie.
Here.
Art Schott.
Here.
Teresa Swagan. Here. Mike Tiedemann.
Here. I'd like to add one item under number 7, Greg Bates, Parks for a committee report. As an update, should there be a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion by Tiedemann, seconded to adopt the amended agenda. Any further questions, changes? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Minutes for August 15th were sent out. Is there a motion to approve the August 15th minutes?
We'll move to approve 15 minutes.
Second. Motion by Boone, seconded to approve the August 15th minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Meeting minutes were sent out for August 24th. Is there a motion to approve August 24th minutes?
Second.
Motion by Swagan, seconded to approve the August 24th minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. No public hearings. Visitors to be heard. Chamber of Commerce.
I will speak. Stand up for no. Okay. So I'm Tracy Storrow. I live on 1 6th Street. I've been a member of the community. I'll be lived here for 2 years in November, and I've been helping Darla and Joanne kind of revamp the chamber a little bit to get more people involved. So, but anyways, I'm here to talk about our trunk or treat. It used to be 3rd Street Boo, which included just the businesses on 3rd Street, but we thought we'd make sure all chamber members were available to do that. So instead of just the doors being open at the businesses here, we've invited all the churches, because apparently in the past, some of the churches have done trunk or treat. So we've invited them to come downtown to put their trunks here, and so the kids would walk on the street and they would go to the businesses, the doors that are open, and the trunks that are open, and all be in one same spot. So we are just requesting to block off the street, probably from this side to this side of this, unless there's extreme participation where we might need more parking spots.
So you're looking at Main to where? Main to 46?
Main to the next, what's the next? Hemlock, thank you.
Main to Hemlock.
As of now, if we get a lot of participation, we sent out mail to all the churches and all the businesses that are not on this street. We've hand delivered to most of the businesses on 3rd Street, and we're gonna follow up with them to see who's gonna participate. I don't know if Joanne has spoken with anybody that is, yes, we're participating. We had quite a few people say that they would participate on this Main Street, or on 3rd Street, sorry. But as of now, our numbers we just weren't sure of them. But we just want to make sure.
Yeah, hang on. When?
It is
Or
a Saturday.
when and, yeah, what date?
It is a Saturday before Halloween, which I believe is the 29th, from 4 to 6.
Could you come at a later date when you know if there's gonna be more,
Definitely.
and just make sure,
Give you a for
make
sure
sure we
number.
have enough room and,
Yeah, we can do that, definitely.
okay? So, will we just table?
When's our meeting before then?
We got one on the 3rd and the 17th of October, so.
17th, be soon enough,
Yeah, it doesn't matter for us.
just a block down the street.
I know Joanne was talking to see if we could get a food vendor here to just be, we're trying to compete with Centerville. I know there's stuff going on, but there's that Halloween that they have going on. So we're trying to get a food vendor potentially, and then maybe on the other side have like a photo op where it has like hay bales and stuff like that for families can take pictures with, the kids and stuff.
Is anybody opposed?
Nope.
Nope. I would say. We vote to approve now. If we need to increase it, we increase it.
That's what I do, I just approve it, mainly unlock, and if they need more, just have to come in again.
You can talk to the street department if it's approved and get them to lock it.
Make a motion?
What day of the week?
Saturday.
A Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday, October 29th.
Halloween is Monday, so we thought do it the weekend before Halloween.
Well, they've contacted all the businesses downtown, because, obviously, if they're gonna participate, but, make sure that the ones down here would be affected the most if you close the street, so.
Okay.
Not much open on that day, so.
Good, wanna make a motion?
Go ahead.
So I make a motion, according to the input from the mayor and Joanne Paulson's worker, Beresford Chamber of Commerce requests to close portion of 3rd Street downtown business district of 3rd Street for trunk or treat from Main to Hemlock. If there's any modifications, so notify by phone. Saturday before October 29th is 4 to 6 p.m.
Second. Motion by Schott, seconded to approve the closure of 3rd Street, Main to Hemlock on Saturday, October 29th, from 4 to 6 p.m. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day. Thank you for all the help. Every little bit counts.
Just make sure you keep looping Jerry in on what the
Yeah.
lines are.
You will.
They come out.
Mhm.
Right there, across the street.
Yep.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to.
My older brother
Gets
flew
pretty
in from New
excited.
York today, so he's saying.
This is good stuff with all the budget.
Thank you. Have a good day, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Greg Bates.
So, I sent you an email. Basically, at the golf course, our pumps are 17 years old.
What?
Our pumps, we got vertical centrifugal pumps,
You pump for the water sprinklers or what?
Yeah, for the whole golf course.
Oh, I pump some water from the wells.
Yep, so I've been having problems with the motor overload all the time, and it's tripping out all the time. And pump number 1 it barely runs anymore. We almost started a fire in our cabinet once because it's just drawn too much
What kind of money are
energy.
you talking?
Hold on a second.
All right. So while we're talking budget, so might as well go over it.
Yeah. Basically, I've just been running number 1 during the day, and watching it, hopefully, and then at night I run number 2, and then some nights I just stay here and set my alarm, wake up, go check it, see if it's
You're a
running,
keeper.
come back, and then go back. And
Good job.
but our pumps are 17 years old, and I think it's what it is. It's just the pump drives the motor. Once the motor gets, the pump runs it basically. So the pump is working the motor too hard to where it's just gonna blow. It's gonna burn out the motor, which the motors probably need to be rebuilt, which isn't too bad. But as far as price, I was talking to them, and per pump, it's probably gonna be between 17 and 22. And I think that's with a pump, that's with a motor rebuild, but we can alleviate some of that because we're gonna have to pull out the pumps, and we'll be able to use the electric department's boom truck to pull them, but we're gonna have to cut a hole in the roof, so we're gonna have to build a hatch to pull the pumps, because we can't get them out any other way.
You was pulling the input and back in, the electrical department help you?
Yeah, they should be able to help me, but I'll have to have the guy who installs them here, because he's gonna have to recalibrate everything.
1 pump, 2 pumps?
Well, I'd like 2, but right now number 1 has to be out. I still get motor overloads on number 2, quite a bit, but
You get a discount if you buy 2 motors?
I don't know.
Do they run solo, or is it, like, if we did fix one, would that help relieve 2 a little bit? Or do they run by themselves?
To get a cycle through at night, especially during this heat, right now, our pump at maximum, if it's running at full bore, running right, can put out 600 gallons a minute. And that gets me, I will start during this summer, I'll start once the golfers are done, and it'll run into where I have to have the pump running on other parts of the course because there's people playing. So we could even use more, but it's sufficient. And I think to run a full summer, you're gonna have to have both pumps up and going. You know, they're really old and they've done we've got our money out for sure.
Have you talked to, say, Malloy Electric about rebuilding?
Yeah.
They can also rebuild the centrifugal pumps. Put a new water seal or rebuild it so it's sealed. It sounds to me like you've lost your water seal and you're not getting the water that you need. Why it's blowing fuses is beyond me, or breakers,
Yeah.
because that tells me you've got a dirty motor.
Mhm.
And needs cleaned and probably re-insulated. But I think you can get that done for a heck of a lot less than your 17 or 16.
Well, I think, the pump and the motor are totally different, which I'm sure you know.
Well, the pump is run by the motor, and I'm sure there's a C face that connects the two.
Mhm.
But, like I said, you're gonna lose a water seal over 17 years. I mean,
Well, I've changed the seals and stuff in the upper housing and everything, quite a few times. I think probably 4 times.
So what kind of seal is it? It's a mechanical seal?
seal. Yeah.
Okay.
And the water there is the hardest, it's almost acid. I mean, it'll leak through stainless steel, it'll leak through brass. And you can look at our vertical pumps. I mean, it's just a matter of time before it cracks, and it just.
Are they cast iron?
Yeah. Because last year I replaced our jockey pump. It's just a submersible pump that's 8 feet down, and we had to pull it up in sections, cut it, pull it up, cut it, pull it up, and cut it until we got to the pump. And then we rebuilt the pump, and then put new pipe and everything in for the jockey pump. And that was because the pipe burst, just because the water heats right through it. And I don't think our turbines, our shafts for our turbines, the housings are gonna last much longer. Because you can see on the outside of it, I mean, it's falling completely apart. After 17 years, I'm reluctant it's lasted this long, I think.
I know they can use a product called Belzona. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But they actually coat that. It's a ceramic coating. And you cover your impellers, you cover the inside of your pumps, even the outsides. We've done that for not sewer companies, but sewer plants and whatnot. And that ceramic coating is probably $3,000 for your application, but you'll get 20 years of extra life out of it. And there's things you can do. I mean, going new, if a cast iron pump's lasted 17 years, that tells me the water really isn't that awful hard, because it'll eat, the water you're talking about, eat through cast iron like it's nothing. But I don't understand how it's eating through stainless steel and not the cast iron.
Well, it's eating through it,
But like I'm saying, there's applications where I think we could spend money, a lot less than replacing the motor and the pump. If we coated it with Belzona,
you'd have to come look at it. There's no possible way. There's no covering if anything. I think if I took a sledgehammer, if I just took a hammer to one like that, it would just go
put a hole in it.
Because that's the way my pipes that I was pulling out for the jockey pump, it was held together, but you'd pull it up and you just and it just,
Maybe we need to look at doing that with them if we put a new pump in.
Yeah, see what the cost is for the new.
Well, if you put a new pump in, I'd recommend putting a Belzona coating on it, because
That's what I'm
that'll
saying.
extend the life.
Check
Like I
them out
said,
for
20
new,
years.
the coating cost.
About probably now, 3-4 grand,
and that's
for
what,
the size of pump you're talking about.
and I think if we put a hatch in the roof, it'd probably be good to pull it every 5 years, just to have it looked at. Cause we can just pull it out, set it on a trailer, have a guy he'll come look at it. If he can fix stuff, he'll fix it right there and then put it right back in. Cause it's basically my heartbeat for the whole entire golf course. If I don't have it, you ain't gonna make any money, you don't have a golf course. I'm having enough problems as it is right now with grub damage and stuff. It's showing everywhere because I just can't keep up.
You said between 17 and 22,000.
Mhm.
That's a $5,000 difference. What's the
It
variation?
just depends on market and where you're getting it from,
Okay.
if you can get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the lead time?
And that's, I'm waiting, I called Watertronics today and talked to their head mechanic, and he's supposed to be emailing me all that stuff, so hopefully we'll have all that tomorrow. I thought I'd have it today, but he didn't send anything.
So you mentioned on the phone earlier today, getting one of the guys down from whatever company
Mhm.
and pulling one of the pumps and having them look at it.
Yeah, I was gonna have him come in October, and hopefully we get some rain or something by then, and temperatures go down. And we'll be able to pull one, and then we could get a good idea if maybe we could just rebuild it. I don't think so. I think with the price of rebuilding it, it's almost better to just buy a new one. Because between the two, I think you're still gonna spend $16,000-17,000.
But until they pull it, I mean, we don't, right?
Right. I have no clue, so. But just from what I can see and what I've dealt with in the past, I don't think the outcome's gonna be the greatest.
You said 17 to 22 each?
So, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. I just wanted you to know what I was kind of dealing with right now. And we'll just I'll just keep it going until he gets here, and we'll just see what happens. So it's just more of this is what's happening.
Would it be helpful to pull it sooner than October?
Possibly, but just with the drought right now, if I can get 2 hours out of it, it's 2 hours well spent.
So basically, if you have both pumps running, you can run 2 zones at a time?
Well, if I have 2 pumps, I can run a full 600 gallons a minute, which is about 16 irrigation heads at a time that run about 42 gallons a minute per head. So you're pushing 600 to 630 gallons a minute. A minute. So during the summer, we've been pushing 350 to 400,000 gallons a night just to try to keep it alive. And you can see where the irrigation heads don't hit, it's dead. We're probably gonna have to reseed rough areas, I'm guessing, in the future.
Well, I know it falls under the park and rec thing or whatever, park and golf course, whatever we're calling it.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with looping Will in since he knows about all this stuff.
Mhm.
And you and Will, I mean, I can tell you yes or no whether I think we should spend money on it. You lost me with, what'd you say, Belzona? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have any problem turning over anything to Will on the golf course on the pump deal at all. If you guys just,
Yeah, we'll know his business.
I just don't want to wait, that's my thing, I don't want to wait and then find out, had we done it sooner rather than later, if we run into a problem where all of a sudden springtime we can't get something or.
Oh yeah, we definitely, I think we need to do something else.
like you said, if we don't have if we don't have a good golf course as we can like it is now, it's,
The reason we have 16,000 rounds of golf is because it's in
yes.
really good shape. I don't want to drop to 7,000 rounds because it gets a bad reputation, and then we have $250,000 in loss because no one's.
Well, to me, it sounds like money well spent to, if we can coat it with this stuff you're talking about, that ceramic. Get,
Belzona.
yeah. If we can get if that extends the life of it, that sounds like $3,000 or $4,000 well spent.
I agree.
Maybe we'll get 25 years out of the next couple of pumps.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion, I'd just soon have Will and Greg take care of it and
Good opinion.
get me out of it, cause I'll just ask a lot of stupid questions.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the mayor. I think if we could get the hole in real sooner rather than later. And Will knows and stuff, he's been with Malloy a lot of years. We had a quality park and he could fix just about anything. So sometimes it might cost a little more money, but I think in the long run, if you can get it, it can last longer. Maybe see it sooner. What's your opinion, Will?
Well, we'll have to take a look at it. No one really knows what condition the pumps are in. If they're in as bad a shape as he's talking,
The sooner
nothing's
the better.
gonna help it. I mean, if you can take a hammer and punch a hole through the housing, that's, you're beyond any kind of meaningful repair.
So it kind of has that look of, you know, it's almost like old wood, where you just grab a piece and yank it off, you know?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Couldn't you just order one pump and have it coated? So you replace one of them, ones that are bad? Because one of them's gotta be bad.
Well, we could what if it to that, I mean, I think they need to look at it and get whoever to come down to and then get their heads together and figure it out and then come back and tell us.
Right. And the delivery time and cost.
Just my opinion.
That's a good opinion.
It's a good question.
So basically my plan is, I'll get a meter as soon as I can in October. I'll pull it and see what the damage is. So I just wanted to give you this heads up, because it just kind of, it was so-so and now it just kind of went to crap. So it's just a bad time for it to happen, but we'll still make it work. We'll find a way, so. Don't worry about that, I guess.
What is your sleeping plans? I mean, I don't want you staying,
Done it before, it's hard.
yeah, but extended periods of time, that's not good.
Part of the job, I guess.
Is this some Mark come down with you?
Yeah, I could sit there around in 2 hours, I'll wake you up.
You sleep in the pump house, and I'll just give you a call.
Yeah, I can get a hose over to JK's property. We get attached over there on 7th Street, they got one going towards the north,
Yeah.
or towards the south, we can put a fire hose that way and shoot it the other way. We call Jay to help out with the fire trucks.
Yeah.
Get it fixed, you don't need to sit there and babysit this thing through the night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of ludicrous.
We'll figure it out.
It's supposed to cool off a little by the weekend anyways. It's gonna be hot the rest of the week.
Anyways, yeah, I'll get with Will and I can know I work for Malloy, that helps out a lot, so. Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
Pretty good job.
Appreciate it.
You got Will's cell phone number?
I need some. I'll get it from you like tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll just give you a call. Or I can use me.
Yeah.
I'll show you around.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
I have a chainsaw for that roof if you need.
We'll be a little more nice about it.
A little more cervical than it is.
We'll figure something out. Thank you guys.
Have a great night.
You too.
Next, no department head or city administrator reports. Consider first reading of ordinance 2022-03, 2023 appropriation ordinance.
At the last meeting, you guys, we made some changes there. Elaine made all the changes to the budget, and I've included a copy of the changes and highlighted those areas and put a few other notes. I didn't have Elaine pull the whole thing up again. I don't think you guys want to go through all of the items again, one by one, but the changes have been made. I've updated my summary sheet on the front there, highlighting the areas that did change. In the general fund, we're $101,579,000 short, so we would anticipate using cash on hand to do that. And just looking at the July financials that we approved last month, in the general cash equivalents, we had 1.944 million at that time. So looks like we should have enough to cover the 101,000 deficit by the end of the year. And then in the other ones, we looked at the electric account. We changed that to bring in some more revenue into the general fund. We took $50,000 more out of extra cash that the electric company would make next year based on, next year's budget. They still show a profit of about $137,000 next year. We're gonna be taking $450 and put it into the general fund, and we're gonna take $525 and put it into the reserve account. So those are the biggest changes we made. We kept, we did put the parks and golf shed. We split that between the parks department and it went into the outside maintenance, under the bridges down at the very bottom of that cheat sheet. We did leave everything else. Elaine, we have, I think we have a sprayer that's being split between the golf course and parks. We've got a workman that's being split between the golf course and parks.
Did we get a quote on a shed?
We have not yet.
Okay, so we're just
We're just ballparking it right now.
Right, okay.
I would think we should look at least the steel up and the concrete floor in, so.
Yep.
Probably no insulating or nothing like that next year, but,
Yep.
you know, stub in water and sewers until we have a sewer line there, so at least stub it out for a potential holding tank if that takes that long to get the sewers.
Okay.
But that was the plan anyhow. And if it comes in a lot higher than that, we'll be coming back to you guys and talking about it again, so.
Do we need to do something with this snow?
No, what we'll do, if you guys are okay with it, we'll do a first reading, which is, Elaine put this the new format we're using. It's gonna be in your packet there, it just talks about the different, general governmental fund types, and it talks about those kind of things. So it's that one there. So we do what we do is just a first reading. As long as we don't have any major changes at the next reading, then we'll go ahead and approve it at our next regular scheduled meeting. So, and then we send it down to the county for approval.
You were talking about pumps.
Yeah, do we?
Just on the budget side of that, Greg mentioned in an email that he had some money for asphalt, that he thought he could just not do asphalt to help with some of that.
True.
But I told him, not worry about that, let's just figure out when we.
No, look, you can't
But
really
that's,
for it.
I think,
really
that answer your question.
Yeah.
And I think too, Jerry and I were kind of talking that, you know, we can approve this as is, because it's got some stuff in there that we all maybe wish list items, but maybe let's be a little bit hesitant with our department heads and not let them start ordering new equipment and new stuff right away in the beginning of the year. If it's something that can hold off a little bit, maybe we kind of.
Well, like we're talking the golf course, I mean, some of those are, you know, does he need them? Probably, but I mean, we need the pumps first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not gonna have any golfing out at anyhow, so.
Right.
We need a motion or?
So put it in there, but
Yeah,
don't have to necessarily spend it, is the
Right.
concept, so. Yes.
Yeah, they're a little bit different, the enterprise funds are different from the general funds, because general fund are all tax supported items. The enterprise accounts, you know, we don't even have to approve them until later in the year, we chose not to, so.
Okay.
The biggest reason we want to include them in our budget worksheet is because we do take some money out of some of those for the transfers to the general fund, so that's how we do that. So, we're comfortable with everything in there, I think, Elaine, you're good with everything in there, I thank her for putting most of the work into this. I've just reviewed it, but she did pretty much everything else, putting everything together for us, so.
Well, Rod Gordon was kind of pushing for us to change the format, so.
So she worked through all those little things, it takes more time, but she got it all figured out, so I think we're good with that. So if you guys are okay, we'll do the first reading tonight, and then we'll bring it back to you for second reading at the second meeting.
September 19th.
Yeah.
I'm me.
So you'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2020.
We don't do that yet. We just do a first reading and put it on file, yeah.
Alright,
Next week, next time, just go ahead and get ready to go.
I will
I'll note that's
Gonna die.
table my motion until next meeting.
Revoke.
Any more questions?
It dies without a second anyway.
That's right. New business, DA and R drinking water certificates, there's copies of those in the trash here.
We'll send it off the paper so they know that we got, they got the awards so that they know the water they're drinking has passed all the DANR requirements, so.
Well, not according to Greg.
What?
No, that's
That's
the
raw water.
well. That's the well.
Yeah.
He also mentioned the sprinklers at the golf course, the pumps pump water to the baseball fields too.
They do.
right?
So we do water from over there.
So we also, if the pumps go down, then the baseball field also is not.
It's a lot of
We
work.
pretty much need them, yeah. And we do have a well that, luckily we haven't had to do anything with that. But that's 600 and some feet deep in the ground. So last time we pulled it was about 3 years after we put it in. We had some bolts that were not stainless steel that they used to secure a few of the motors down there, so they rusted out in the first 3 years.
Okay.
So then we pulled the whole thing up, and that was like 10,000 just to pull it up and replace the bolts. But we didn't pay him, because the guy that designed it is the same guy that approved putting those bolts in, so.
Must be a pretty good well to pump that much water in there.
Yeah, just trying to fill that pond. You know, it's a lot of that's way more than their whole water tower, one day of pumping, so.
Wow. If we had to, could we ever connect back to the city wells out east?
Just about dry.
No, they're not. They're not.
Pond out there?
We got 5 pumps out there? 5?
I thought they
City
were
wells
full.
got 3.
Not even close.
We only use 2, there's one that
The
had
old
to be
city?
replaced, so we wouldn't even
Well,
use that one.
Right by your home.
Yeah, but you're so focused on your time that you don't notice.
Hey, you're gonna be nice to Troy, he's my friend.
Sorry. IBEW proposals for 2023.
They just need to notify us by the end of August that they're ready to start negotiations, so I will send the information out to the committee so they can start taking a look at it. And of course, that always deals with the holidays, vacations, hours paid for hours worked, all that kind of stuff. I won't get into, there wasn't really that much in wages, so we won't talk about it here, but we'll get it out to the committee and they can start working through it, so.
I just got one question. Weren't you gonna call the insurance company or maybe some of the rates or something? When we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the budget, that you said you were gonna call on the insurance to see what the increases would be.
We don't know that yet, Art.
Yeah.
We did budget 10%, hoping that would be enough.
Okay,
So
no, sorry, I
we
was
may know
wondering.
more here in a few weeks, but we don't know
All
right now. That's the bad
okay.
part about having a budget, that's due about the same time our insurance rates come out, so.
All right, no, thank you, thank you.
It's usually, isn't it, mid to late October before we start
It is.
getting word of what it possibly is?
We always look at different options too, and I know Elaine's been sending a bunch of information off to the state to see if that would be an option, where we could actually be part of the state health insurance plan. We said that we at least entertain the option, but they only had like 20 or 25 cities out of the whole number, so they didn't go any further with that, so Elaine put a lot of information together, and we didn't get anything back out of it, so we'll be talking with our elected officials probably doing that, maybe come legislative session again, so.
So you're trying to get on the state?
Well, just to see what their options would be.
Sure.
I mean, if it's a lot cheaper, and the benefits pay out similar, take a look at it. We tried to get into, we actually looked at municipal leagues, got their own health insurance pool, but they got about 3/4 of the way through ours and said they didn't really want us last year, so they stopped looking and said, oh, you better stay where you're at, they told us, so. They were not gonna be any cheaper.
No.
They couldn't, no.
Next item, approval of travel requests. Is there a motion to approve the 2 travel requests?
We'll move to approve those.
Shot second.
Motion by Byrne and seconded to approve the 2 listed travel requests. Any further discussion? And all fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Is there a motion to authorize payment of bills?
You always.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Byrne and seconded to authorize payment of the bills. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all fair say aye. Opposed? No further items for the council meeting adjourned.
The old city wells, about a mile out.